Mario, great to have you. It's been a while. I haven't seen your smiling face in, let's just map out quick how our loving relationship blossomed and bloomed. We met online, right? You were responsive on the Facebook group on Gutter Installer behind me.
Yep,
and we had a raffle, a giveaway on a tablet, and you were the lucky winner. And then I love serendipity, and I love stories like this. So you were the lucky winner. We got with you on the phone. We had a call. Hey, you're the guy. Let's get this tablet put together. We'll send it out in the mail. We had it sitting on our desk. We mailed it out to you. Then GutterCon came around, and it was time to go catch a plane. So George from my office and I, we traveled together. We go to the airport. Who is in the freaking airport? You. You're in Pennsylvania, and I want you to tell us, give us your backstory. But I know you're in PA. We're in Connecticut. Yep. Everybody flies out of New York airports. But, I mean, hey, we were on the same flight. It was early in the morning, and we sat down, we had a cocktail, right? Like, it was...
Yeah, I was actually on the phone with my sales guy, right? And I said, this guy that I won the iPad from, he's right across the way. Now, I recognize you because obviously you put content out, and the group was new, and I'm seeing your stuff, but never had a chance to meet you yet, right? So I'm like, okay, I know they're going to be down there. So I'm like, they're at the bar across from me. So I finished my drink. I come over to you guys. At me
from across the bar. I remember it like yesterday.
We had I'm like, we have time, so we had a drink or two, and we started that way, and then we shared a
great trip with you, man. We hung out a lot. I had a very good time with you. So tell us, for those that are tuning in and watching, give us the name of your company, where you're located, and what you do.
So we are located in Northeast Pennsylvania. My gutter business is all gutter systems. I have a flat roofing company and roof restoration, commercial roofs. That's over the top. And I'm a fourth generation sheet metal worker. My family had a sheet metal company, Bevilacqua Sheet Metal, for 102 years. And it was always family involved. My sister's in the office. My dad's in there. A lot of cousins, large family, just had a long history of tradesmen in our family. So awesome. That was it was.
So you were a kid kicking around, jumping in and out of trucks, and
I was.
Dad go out to work to do this stuff.
I would go with him on Saturdays, and he'd bring me on some side jobs and stuff. And no different than me. He laughs at me now because he worked like a nut for a long time and with small kids, and we're in the truck. And as old as I was, he brought me as soon as he could to the jobs and stuff. And you're running around the old shops and you're throwing the hammers around. You're just no different than like my nephews and my kids are doing now. It's just as soon as you can, you hop in.
So awesome. How old are your kids? I remember we chopped it up about the kids when we were together.
6 and 8. 2 girls, 6 and 8.
6 and 8.
Yeah.
So my son's 4 now. He just turned 4 last week, and he was like 2.5, sitting on the lap of one of my excavator operators and working the sticks, and just all they want to do. Even my 2-year-old daughter, daddy's truck. My 10-year-old, she's been around it for 10 years now. It's like second nature to her. Saturdays she gets stuck. It's like you think you're running an errand, and the next thing you hook a left and you go to that customer that's been nagging you to get over there.
Yeah, drop off a color sample.
Just hang out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, they like it too. I mean, they don't grasp all of it, what's involved yet, but they're into it. They definitely are into it.
How old were you the first time you were on a roof?
Oh, geez. Oh, man. I had to be climbing ladders. I remember that my dad, and they were like, they didn't have seamless gutters, their own machines. So I remember just going with them in the trucks. And I had to be 6 years old,
you remember?
Looking. Yeah, I remember.
I remember
walking in.
Would you say,
I walked into a gutter. I walked into the back of a gutter, not paying attention. They were carrying it. But I thought, so when I went to college, I had a sales job for a couple of years, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? It was a good experience right away. I thought I was going down a different path. My mom always tried to push me away from doing the family business, but I don't want to do it how they did it. They kind of did it backwards compared to how I'm handling it. And they made it through. They did their thing, but she always tried to push me away. And then I had a couple opportunities come, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go back I'm going to work in the family business and do this. And if I got too far into a different career, it'd be harder to go back. So,
right.
you know, a lot of my friends had sales jobs and these great careers they're starting. And me, I'm like, I'm a sheet metal worker.
Right.
And
yeah, it's not necessarily sexy, right?
It wasn't, and especially at 20 some years old, you know, you're young and you're like, is this what I want to do? But as we'll get into, I'm sure, like, it just changed all of a sudden, and you know, I loved it. You know, it's more important to have that legacy, I guess, in my opinion.
I'm sure a lot of people listening, the industry we're in, it's all driven by passion. You know, if you don't have that hunger or that passion, you're not going to get up at that hour, and you're not going to work that long day. You're just not doing it. It comes from a different place inside the body, you know, and it's certainly not for everybody. But just like you know, same thing.
Yeah.
I did the college thing, graduated, had a white collar sales job, and I'm like, it's just not. I'm just not working for me. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't feel fulfilled. I just don't. And here I am. You know, this fulfilled me. It's weird, you know, like you said, wasn't not a sexy thing. Some people didn't understand it. My girlfriend at the time didn't understand it. She was put off by it. I'm like, you got to go. You're out. You're out. This gutter business is in. You got to go.
Yeah, it's not everybody understands, right?
No.
And that's
so
okay.
Your wife, tell us about, like, you know, how long has she been in the picture?
So she, geez, I had a crush on her my whole life, right? And I was a year younger than her, but so that worked out. We've been together since 2012, but like I knew her my whole life. Like I said, she was cool. You know, my older sister dated her older brother, so she was always around, but she just wasn't available at the time. So I got my shot. I was actually at a sheet metal competition in Vegas. So it was a local. You win locally in the competitions. We were in Vegas for a sheet metal competition. I was out there competing, and I ended up flying home a day early, and I gave him some line of bullshit like, oh, I have to go to a wedding, but I really wanted to come back to the Scranton, where I live, has a huge St. Patrick's Day parade. So I came back a day early to go.
Yeah, you want to miss that?
Enjoy that. I mean, I don't want to miss that. So I was already in Vegas for a few days, but I came home a day early. I saw her out, and I was like, hey, let me take you out. What do you think? And she's like, sure. I was like, really? So it started like that, but it's important. Like you mentioned, hey, that girlfriend that you mentioned, she wasn't with it.
Not on board, man. So, I mean, my wife's in the business, you know. When she met me, she understood, and she was doing other things. She worked for a jeweler, and now she's working with me. She's in the trenches. She's on the sales side and the office side.
That's it.
So, I mean, it feels good when you have that. We got to get the girls together, by the way. In Orlando.
They would hit off.
Yeah,
I know
for
that.
Sure.
So she had my back from day one. She's never given, like, she believes in everything I'm trying to do, and she sees the big picture, and she knows it. And so when you're not around, when the kids are small, you're working 6-7 days a week, or when you're just starting out dating and just married, you're working all the time, and somebody knows where you want to be, what you want to do. They know that that's an important part of it. So
tell me about balance, work-life balance. Do you, personal life, business life, is it wildly unbalanced like me?
It's like what balance, right? There is none. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think where it shifted for me is when my kids were real small. Like, it was a little easier for my wife to be home with them. She had some help, right? They didn't notice that I wasn't there on the weekends, but as they started looking for that weekend breakfast, it was like, so instead of me working, it was a shift where when the company's growing or when I'm growing, it went from me working 6 to 7 days a week to now I have other guys that are working 6 and 7 days a week, right? So I'm there. So on Saturdays and Sundays, guys are still working. And don't get me wrong, I'm working too, just not as much as I did. I mean, God, you work every Saturday for the whole year. It's 20% more you're going to bring in. And, you tell the guys that too, and they get that. But there's no balance. I'm still trying to figure it out. But
that's the hard part of all this is just, to make the numbers work and to bring it in, you know, you can't do it in an 8-hour day. There's just not enough freaking time. Here's a good question. This is out of left field. If someone is considering starting their own gutter and roofing business, what advice would you give them? So I think, you know, we see a lot of guys, especially in this group as we're administrating this group, there's a lot, I don't know if you notice or not, but there's a lot of people that pop in, they're like, I'm just getting going. Oh, I just got a machine. I'm trying to make it work in this industry. You obviously, you're interesting because you're fourth generation. You have your own experiences, but you also have 3 generations before you of experiences that you could learn from and leverage. So you were able to navigate the pitfalls and the mistakes, or, you know, they schooled you to that as a kid. So you do have an interesting perspective, but I'd love to hear what your take is on that type of question.
Well, I mean, that's a good question because there's, hey, if you're working for another installer and you want to start your own, you know, that's awesome. I would say is know everything you can about the business, not the business, about the installation and about the gutters. Just start off with knowing all that, and then the rest, it kind of comes slowly after with the business side of things. But I would say be hands-on. I mean, if you're going to lead a group of men or women or anything, I think that I'm a believer in you have to know what you're doing and what you're looking at for them to believe in you. And honestly, if you do that, everything else falls into place, okay? Like as we're talking about. But I would say the biggest difference you'll see as a new person getting into this, once you know what you're talking about, the homeowner believes that. The customer is going to see that. And you don't have to, you know, I think when I first started going out and looking at residential gutters, now, like I said, I was a sheet metal worker. So I was used to doing a little more fancy things than just gutters, right? So, but once you're going out, you're yesing the customer, you're, yeah, we could do that. But you don't do that anymore. It's like, hey, this is how I would do it, and I'm not doing it any other way. So somebody, I would say, live within your means. Don't get paid and go buy out work out of I still have them. Older trailer. Mm-hmm. The truck is not one of the vans isn't the greatest. You know, we use it for a different purpose now, but live within your means. When you get a check, buy inventory, have it, right? Yeah. Spend money on that. Yeah, don't go crazy with buying things. And you could do this. You could start off a Chevy Express like we did, 5K machine. And the next thing you know,
my first truck was like an old Navy base truck, and the damn thing leaked oil everywhere. It was a Chevy P30 step van. I mean, you start where you got to start. I mean, it is what it is. Tell me this though. This is my perspective, or let me put it out there. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe not. First of all, I completely agree with your position on that. You can't be fooled. You need to, if you're going to manage staff and they're going to come back to you and report to you on how the day went, what they did, how things are going, whatever complications they have, you need to be able to inherently understand it, know if they're full of shit, know if they're spot on, advise them, be able to direct them and steer them by having that real world experience. So you got to go out there, and I agree in the sense that you got to spend at least 3-4 years in the field, cutting your hands, breaking your ass, putting the work in, understanding what a long day is, and doing it for years until you then could step back and then go focus on the scaling. But this is where I'm going with this. If we agree on that, is it me? Am I just getting old? I mean, my beard is white as hell. But is it my age, or am I right in the sense that I feel like so many guys now are trying to get into business, but they're trying to get the cheat codes. They're trying to get the shortcuts. They don't want to do the work, or they have no interest at all of ever touching a snip. They're not trying to. They just want to own the company. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think it's a real failed approach. You're never going to command respect from a team. You're never going to truly understand the dynamics of the job and the intricacies so that you could properly price it or pivot when you need to on a change order or what have you. But I just feel like the energy out there is a lot of guys just trying to get it done and not, maybe it's because it's the internet age and everybody's like, well, I could make the phone ring and I could generate leads and I could put a website together, but can you do the gutter work? And I'm not judging you by anybody's skill set per se and how they install, but it's mind-boggling that I feel like guys don't want to get on a ladder or have no interest in it. and yet they still think they're going to make a splash. What do you? Am I losing my mind, or
no? You're not. And I think sometimes I like to say, hey, if you're very wealthy and you have a lot of money, you could do those things and get by. You're going to waste a lot of money, and I feel like you're going to look. Everybody said, oh yeah, just follow this blueprint, and you'll get leads, you'll get calls, you'll get this, and like you said. But you have to perform the work. Like I used to think, like, God, if I advertise, I'm in a unique situation here, right? It's different. It's not this way for everybody. We're a lot of referral based. We have a name for a long, long time. So they know you're getting quality. It's already qualified. The lead's already qualified when they're calling, mostly. But I used to be afraid to put it out there, to advertise, and not be able to keep up with the work. I think differently now.
Hold on, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What was the fear?
The fear was
it might work. I might get slammed.
Well, I might get slammed, or we're busy enough, right? Hey, then I have to hire new guys, and I just wasn't ready to make that jump yet. Okay. Add more crews, if you will, because of I think it's because of what else I have going on, and not just gutters. Right. I think it was a little bit of that, but yeah, the fear was like, oh man, if I get these calls, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with them. Right.
And then I think most guys don't do it because they're too cheap. A lot of guys can't part with the money that it takes to market and advertise the right way to get those leads. So they're like, no way can I'm not spending that much money in a month. And so they can never get out of their own way, you know?
Yeah. I think for somebody new getting out and doing that, I think your work's got to speak for itself first. I feel that way. Maybe that's just me or you thinking that. You got to get that good reputation of doing quality work. Then the phone's going to ring. But if you can't wait and you have to start advertising and do things like that, do it within your budget, right?
Yeah, 100%. Just to make a leap, because I know you just did this, and it's almost Christmas. We're in the middle of Hanukkah for those that celebrate that. Kwanzaa's coming up. We got a lot of holidays this month. Lighting. You dove into lighting, and it's such a big buzzword right now in our industry, and it's festive and it's fun, and it's I have so many questions for you on the lighting thing. First of all, just at 30,000 feet, are you successful with it? How's it working out? In your first year, your first official?
This is first year, and I'll tell you how I felt. I went to GutterCon last year. I saw the lighting, the groups. I'm like, I don't know. I'm listening to some of the numbers. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to fly where I live. Like where I live, I
think everybody has the same feeling.
And I'm like, look, we live in a Northeast Pennsylvania, coal miners town. Look, people are stuck in their ways. They are the way they are, and that's great. But I think there's some obstacles when you have so many people that maybe view it and think that way. They're going to be met with some resistance. So I wasn't like, oh my God, I want to do that. I wasn't a real fan of putting them up and taking them down, because where I live, we can't do gutters or like we can't remove and get on roofs in February and January. Yeah, so how are we going to take the lights down, right? So my cousin, he partners with me. We have a pressure washing business, right? And he really wanted to go after the lights. And I said, well, listen, here's my criteria. Permanent lighting, not just holiday offered for holidays. What kind of warranty can you offer, right? What is the company all about? What's the product like? I wanted to do permanent. I wanted a good warranty, and I wanted to just ease of use, right?
Yep.
So the one we chose was Trim Light.
I looked at them.
He went out and he went to them, and he did the training and everything like that. My thought was, hey, I already had the ladders. We already have the guys.
Yeah, it's turnkey.
It's for us, it's no sweat. I just wanted to put out some good quality with it and not just hang lights and then take them down and store them. So that was my criteria with it.
But did you stay that route, or did you guys go with the temporary?
We went permanent. Yeah, we went permanent.
Oh, so that's all you're putting up is permanent?
All permanent.
Wow.
All permanent.
And we talked offline.
Yeah.
Can you share with the audience what you did in the last 2 months?
So we started. He went to the training. I was coating roofs at the time. I'm used to. I'm trying to make most use of the weather. Okay, so he went out on October 3rd and 4th, and right now we're sitting. It's December 11th.
Yeah.
252,000 signed so far in that time frame.
You still have more
not all installed,
Okay.
not all installed, but you know,
but you didn't make promises for the holiday, right? I mean,
everybody that we had promised to was, hey, you know, we'll get you in. So we, as the installs kept going on, we said, all right, well, we could fit more in. Well, the people we said, hey, we can't fit you in before Christmas, they're like, that's okay. And we were kind of talking about how do we approach that, right? How do you say, boy, this is a holiday light, mostly holiday lights, right?
Right. That's my question. Is it driven?
There's people.
Is the sales driven because the holiday's coming, or is it?
They were so happy. They were so happy with being able to say, look, you know, kick the can down the road a little bit on this install. We'll give you a little better deal. We're running a little bit more better pricing in the off season, and they said yeah, and they're fine with that. Like maybe roughly, a few were like,
how many houses are we talking at for $250K? Like,
well, we did a couple larger installs. We did some commercial stuff. We did some Harley Davidsons and things like that. So
black and orange. Like
we're at like, how do I say without saying it right? I think we have a list of like 40 more to do, and we probably did like a few dozen so far.
Wow. Kick ass, dude. Congrats. That's awesome.
But
so you guys took to it like fish in water.
Yeah,
everything was
it's no sweat. Like I just took these two guys and I said, hey, let's do these guys. We're going to stick these guys up with that, and then you're going to get used to it. You're going to end up doing the low voltage lighting and things like that. And we're going to stick you with it, and then we have some seasonal help. My cousin come back from college.
A year. I mean, it could be.
If it is, and it's shocking, those numbers. Yeah. And obviously, if I was going to tell somebody what route to take, I'm sure there's in the other parts of the country where it's a little warmer, the up and down thing is the way to go, no doubt. But
that scares me. That was my fear.
Yeah.
Because right now, my guys are stressed. I have a crew of 4 guys that are running around doing gutter cleanings. I have another team doing installs, and then I have the drainage business to the side. But right now, it's always high pressure. The gutter cleanings. It's getting colder. We're getting ice in the gutter. Yeah. We just had 2 days of rain. Snow's impending. It's a high pressure situation as is. And then I add the lights to it. I'm like, if I'm just already seeing it where it's the same thing with my cleanings. If you can't get to those cleanings before the snow flies, they're calling, screaming in the office, and we're like, dude, we have 1,000 cleanings we need to do. It just is what it is, and it just I don't know. I don't want to have I don't want to be giving deposits back. That's my fear. Like I'm in this pressure cooker, and I can't get to it fast enough, and I only have a few months to do it. They don't want the lights before Halloween, and then all of a sudden I have this short window to get it done, and then like you said, I got to go take these damn things down, and it's brick cold out. I
would say for where we live, pretty similar climate. I would go for the permanent route because the company we work with, Trimlight, they offer down lighting, soffit lights, accent lighting, security lighting, things like that. They also globe lighting.
It's like 3 in 1. You're getting there's more bang for the buck with that.
Yeah, I'm bundling, I'm cleaning gutters, putting guards on, and we're putting a trim light. You know what I mean? At the same time, on the same house. So it's he and I, when we talked about this, I was like, listen, I don't want to come out of pocket. This might not work. This might not be, people might not love it. They're stuck in their ways sometimes, and they're not going to spend the money on it because it's not that cheap, right? We're talking. I was like, all right, we get to a certain number, we'll get a new trailer for the pressure washing division. We'll get maybe another truck to pull it. That's right. You're doing, and so are you doing Softwash? You have a rig for that? Soft washing, yeah.
Are you using like a prefab rig, or do you guys build your own? Or?
Yeah, so we went and I know it's getting off topic a little bit, but I have to begin with this.
It's all on topic.
Well, my cousin, the same one I'm referring to, right? He had a food truck business, and
this guy's a movie shaker, huh?
He is. He got big real quick. We have the same name. We're both Mario Bevilacqua, right? So it's confusing to most, but he's a little younger than me. And my dad's, I don't know what, my dad, his dad, it was that guy there behind me.
Yeah.
He's Mario. That's my grandfather, right?
Right.
So his name was Mario. So my father's Mike, and I was born first. So he named me after his dad. And then my dad's older brother was Mario. he named his son Mario. So I was big Mario, he's little Mario. But getting back to that, he was like, hey, I'm doing sales. He got away from the food truck stuff. It didn't pan out. And then he was doing some sales and doing this and that. And he's like, I really like to get into something that's a little easier, that doesn't take as many guys. And so we went, and he said, what do you think about this trash bin cleaning services, right?
Yeah, that's been, it's a couple guys over here doing it.
So what I did was I said, all right, well, I don't want to pay for that rig. Yeah. So I found one down in North Carolina, used, it just had the hopper and the arms, the hydraulic arms. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it was a flatbed. So I brought it back. Does it have a hot seat in it? Are they using hot water on it or not? No. Yeah. So I brought it back. It was a flatbed. I put the pressure washer on it, the hot water on it. Got the Belandi heads, like I fabbed it. Like I welded aluminum, put the sides on. We had some leftover like wall panels that we use, and like that we do the facades with for the car dealerships. Yeah, sure. So we did it all, got it wrapped, got it operational, and it was like, man, we're chasing like $10 subscriptions here. Like it was a grind. It was tough. So the pressure washing was something, right? So, and I guess what I'm getting with all these services we provide is like, because it sounds like a mess, hot mess, right?
Not really, not to me, because I get it.
They're all under the same umbrella, Frank, right? So it's like,
and you're on the roof.
We're there.
It's the same ladders. Like it all makes sense.
It all makes sense. I'm out there slinging hoagies and doing gutters. It's, it all jives. Yeah. But I guess I believe that getting into the residential gutters like I did in 7-8 years ago, these customers are looking for you to provide more to them, right? And why do you want to go there every year, right? Sure, we want to put your gutter guards on after we do the gutters. Sure, we'll service you, we'll clean them, we'll maintain them. Right. But the idea is like, how do I get there every year with the same clientele? So the pressure washing was a spin off the trash bin cleaning. Well, I sold the truck to a guy in Ohio, and we bought a pressure washing rig. So we had it fabbed out. I can't be taking time to weld everything and put it all anymore. So we got to put together the rig. We had good success. He was in the field a lot with that. He's pretty good with the advertising and online, the marketing thing, and that's his gig. And so, like I said, we're there. Hey, we do the Softwash. Hey, we can do your roof. Hey, we can do this. We can do that.
That's what homeowners want. They don't want to deal with 5-10 vendors. They want to have one company they know is badass, gets it done. Customer service is on fleek, no issues. They know they can trust you. You get the work done, and then they're like, and what else do you do?
They do.
Where it goes. And then,
and that's how it went.
Yeah, I love it. George, can you talk to us about what you had in mind as far as like clips or
there you go.
Garbage outlet. I hate those.
It's like 4-footers.
Yeah. Those little narrow hangers too. Little lightweight deals. So I feel like we're on that. What's that?
Let's make a gutter template. Draw a line all the way across.
What's that TV show where Rob Dyrdek or whatever? Where they just sit there and just watch crazy videos.
Yeah.
This guy's got a miter. He's doing something with a miter.
He's doing a haircut. Yeah, we'll see what he's got.
Well, we got to get this guy a pencil.
Yeah, he's marking it up. Right? I mean, you can't leave Home Depot without tripping over 20 pencils at the point of sale.
They're giving them away. I like to get the guys through to January, right? Everybody looks a little bit of a break, kind of. It was weird.
Like
you have that goal.
For you guys?
Yeah, everybody has that goal in mind of slowing down, but last year it didn't come, so we just kept working. Yeah. But
you had a mild winter for what you normally get, right? We all did.
Yeah. So, and I think they were saying that it was going to be a little harsh for winter this year, but now they changed that, I guess. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
El Nino effects down south is going to be a little bit more severe, but for us, apparently, it's maybe moisture, but warmer air. So, who knows, though? We haven't had a heavy winter in forever.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing with having your hands in a few different things. You could take the guy from one focus, do
Exactly.
this. You know, sometimes, hey, you get lucky enough to do some inside flooring, inside work, and
Totally.
remodel a couple of things with there in the guy's wheelhouse, and keep them warm a little bit if you could.
So
But,
what do you do? Are you going to Disney? Is that what the plan is with the kids?
Yeah, it's my wife's birthday that weekend, and
awesome.
I think my nephews are going to come with my sister.
Oh, wow.
And my kids are coming, so I'll have responsibilities. I'll have stuff to go to, but you know, maybe at nighttime I'll be spending it with them. Who knows? But I think they're going to try to go to Disney. Yeah.
Well, we got to have at least one night at boys' night.
Definitely. I think I'll be going on Thursday.
First night. Yeah. Thursday night?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. So we'll be down. So when is Tina's thing? Thursday or Friday?
I heard she's on Friday. Yeah, my sister will be going to that. I think it's for a few hours. But Tina was cool. Like when I saw, like, when I went to GutterCon, and this is for people listening, like I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. No. Like to me, it was like, hey, I'm doing it uniquely because of my background in my foot, you know, your presence in the area. But I want to go, Frank. I want to talk to you. How do you do it, right? So that's what my goal last year was to be like, what's everybody doing? What are they using?
We all put our shoes on one at a time, right? Like
yeah.
We all have the same challenges.
And for people listening, like I was able to connect with a few guys that, hey, this is what we're using. This is what we do. And Tina,
Tina's
she
awesome.
had a lot of systems in place, right? And I think to me, that's where, I'm not going to say that's where I lack, but as you're growing, if you don't have these systems in place, it sometimes could feel overwhelming, and you're not really setting up the guys to succeed, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it's like for you, but going back to guys starting out, answer the phone, no matter what. Just try to get back to people, get them the quote as fast as they can.
My thing is you got to have a human answering that phone all the time.
Yeah.
I don't care. That was me back in the day, even when I was working. It was like, has to be answered. I'm not taking messages. Because they're just calling the next guy right after that. They don't get you. They go to the next name and they're calling the next guy.
And there's got to be, even if they'll call my sister or me or my sister, right? So now we have it set up that she answers the phone and puts it in CRM, right? And the sales guy goes out if it's not myself, right? You got to have a personal touch, right?
100%.
Somewhere along the way, they got to hear from me, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys really run their business. I know way too many guys that run like this, that it just automatically goes to voicemail. They're not trying to answer the phone. Then they're screening. So they're going to cherry pick now. They're going to listen to the messages and call back who they want to call back. Okay, if you have no overhead and you're just trying to slink along, that'll work, but you're going to piss a lot of people off along the way. And that's just bad business, just terrible.
Well, one of the guys that did it for a long time around here, there's not a ton of gutter companies around here, but one guy that done it for a long time, he was like happy that I went and started doing residential gutters, because when he doesn't answer the phone, he knows that they're going to get taken care of by somebody else. And you end up getting a lot of business that way by answering the phone.
Sure.
And it's, look, everybody's talking about how to raise prices. Oh, I can't compete with that. I can't do that. You could do that and raise prices and be expensive. Well, I'm not going to say expensive, but you could be more per foot or have a higher number. If
but
you got
to put out. You got to
get
do
that quote
X, Y, and Z to make that justifiable.
Right. So you gotta present it a certain way, right? Like you're gonna.
That's actually a great point, and it sounds so commonsensical, but let's rewind it back. Like for anybody listening out there that always asks the same question: how do I get my prices up? How do I charge more? How do I?
Yeah.
Step one, Mario just hit on it. We're talking about it here. Step one is get ready to do a lot more for that money than you would do for $4 a foot.
Right.
$4 a foot are jokers that don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to be accountable. They want to control it and do things when they want to do things. You need to give high levels of customer service in order to get the top dollar. But if you make that part of your normal ritual and normal routine, and everybody on the team knows that that's just the way it is, then that's just the norm. And it becomes commonplace. It's like breathing air. It's what we do as a company. We don't even realize we're giving great customer service, but that's what we're doing. But that's why we could justify $15 a foot. So like, don't think you're going to continue playing your you know, your bullshit games and running a real piss poor business and then get the money too. Like, that's not happening. Customers are too savvy for that. Consumerism is real, especially within the day of the internet with reviews and you know, people take it to Yelp and Better Business Bureau and everything else. Like, everything shakes out in the wash. So you're not going to sell unless you're doing the things the right way.
And like your app, right? You go.
I have a lot of competition near me.
Right, but I'm just saying. But just I guess, for instance, somebody else wondering how they could set themselves apart, right? You're showing this. This is your sales tool now. This is what you're showing what's the other guy showing? His pen and paper.
We use GutterApp in the field. GutterApp is phenomenal for in-home presentations. So the demo, actually, you'll be on it this week. I want you to, even if you get a private call, you schedule a call, myself, George, will walk you through it and give you like a little tutorial. But it just presents really well. Looks really slick on that tablet we sent you. So in-home presentation, when you're trying to build rapport and win over the homeowner and show how you're different from the other guys, you can make a really nice, convincing about us presentation, a company presentation to warm up that client before you get into the nitty gritty and into the meat and potatoes on what they called you in for. You want to warm them up and talk about, hey, we're a 100-year-plus company, 4 generations. You take the photo of Grandpa waving, that's in the slideshow. The company logo.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to put a certificate of insurance in there. Any credentials you have, you know, if you are Hague Engineering Roofing certified, you want to show that. You know, any kind of Better Business Bureau, that's a good thing to brag on in a slideshow like that. Family photos are great for salespeople, especially towards the end of the presentation. It kind of brings it full circle to the homeowner, like, hey, I'm a real person too, and I have to sell and bring home the bacon to these kids and my wife here in this photo. So you're able to do that. But what the other, I mean, there's so many 1-2 punches inside the app, but the other thing that we really like within the app is the products section. So it's basically like a digital catalog within the app. So if you're talking, you start getting into the nitty gritty with the homeowner and they're like, well, you know, I'm going for a certain look and I need a certain color and I'm thinking about box, but I want to look at a half round. Can you show me what that looks like? Instead of dragging around all these samples, which you should have anyway in your vehicle, but like they get dinged up and they get scratched and they look great today. And you know the deal, like in 2 months, they look like crap. And then you got to get new samples. I mean, it's a whole thing unless you really, really wrap them and protect them. If you have access to GutterApp, you have a deep, deep dive into any product gutter related, and we have all kinds of photos inside of there. So you could show them this digital catalog of what could be for them and get them salivating and see what they ping on, you know, like, ooh, I do like that. Now you know when you wrap up the in-home presentation at the table and you step outside and you walk around the house, you're going to put a price on. Hey, you kind of jumped when I showed you that Musket Brown 6-inch half round system. Let me show you what that price looks like. So now you're cooking with fire. You know, you're kind of warming them up and you're gauging interest with the product section. And I could go on and on. So GutterApp is definitely a very functional way to run a business for the sales team. I like Jobber. I use Jobber. I've been on Jobber for years. It works for me because my business is scaled and I have, you know, I have an office manager that's managing 5-6 teams in the field. So she needs to stay organized. We're growing to that. By the way, we're taking GutterApp in that direction. I'm not trying to necessarily compete directly with Jobber, but for those that really are flexing on GutterApp and loving it, we want to make sure they could schedule right inside the app itself. They could dispatch and that sort of thing. So we're headed in that direction with it. But I do like that about Jobber. What I don't like about Jobber is that, although it doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of these guys around the country, you have to be a good writer, right? It's just this blank slate. You have to get in there and embellish this damn thing on your own. You have to be a decent writer. You have to know how to add features, benefits, and dress a quote from nothing. Yes, there is make a copy in Jobber, and you could, you know, or create similar quote is the feature. But we conquered that with GutterApp. We created templates. So we have legacy templates that we create on the administrative side that live inside the app. Everybody has access to them. So like how we sell 6K white, you know, or for anything for that matter. I think we have like 50 of them in there now. So if there's like boilerplate systems that you want to sell, we have it all built out, dressed proper with great English, you know, features, benefits, and you could just take it and drag and drop, you know.
That's great.
And use it. So you know what you should do when you get GutterApp fired up? You should sign up for the credit card processing. It doesn't affect your current situation.
Yeah.
And you know the flat rate is the maintenance fees that go to the bank, and we don't. It's outside of us. It's $20 a month. So to have access to that processing through the app, you'll be amazed once you start doing it. Because I've been doing it for like 3.5 years now. I pass on the fee to the consumer. I say, hey, you want to use a credit card? You're paying 4%. Right. And I can't tell you how many people are totally okay with it. I mean, $60,000 jobs, and they're like, whatever, I'm paying an extra $2,000 in credit card processing, fine. So it just, every time you do a transaction like that, you're protecting yourself. That money's back in your pocket. Yeah. If you just test and measure with GutterApp, if you get your guys out there running with GutterApp, say, hey, go ahead, try to, you know, this guy wants to pay with a credit card, get the sale. Yeah. And then once you build that confidence, I told you my story.
It's new for us. It's new for us.
It takes a little bit of time to like, you know, get your head around and feel comfortable about it. Because it is unorthodox, but when you start looking around and realize who's doing it, it's everybody. Every damn restaurant you're going to, hotels. Yeah. Watch, when we're in Orlando, look at the receipt. Because the Gaylord did it in we're not going to the Gaylord. What are we at?
No, we're Hyatt. We're going to the Hyatt. Yeah.
I bet you they do it though. Restaurants, bodegas, anywhere you go, they're getting you for that 4%. So why not do it in your business? For the guys that are new to business, I get it. You're like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to ruin the sale. Trust me, if you're not testing and measuring and having options and you see what works for you, it's not getting away with it. This is just the way of the world now. This is where it's all headed. I'm telling you, like you could save a bundle. I'm doing around $3 million a year. My accountant was like, dude, you spent $82,000 on processing. He was mad at me. I said, John, but I get the money. This was like a few years ago. I get the money in 3 days, John. Well, he's old school Italian. I said, what do you want me to do? Tell him to mail you a check. I go, John, that's what I used to do. And my receivables was $150,000 because everybody's full of shit. They tell me the check's in the mail. A month later, what happened to the mail? You know, like, pay me now, give me the money. So now the best of both worlds is get paid with the credit card and they pay the 4%. And, you know, it's well worth it. You're saving.
What do you feel? I want to go back to this a little bit. How do you feel about the remote quotes? Right, with the
a lot of guys are doing that right now.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
I think a lot of guys got comfortable during COVID with that nonsense.
Well, I think because we're talking about first to act, like right, you know, hey, if they're calling you and you get it quickly to them, obviously there's a lot of gray area. You could come across a lot of things that, hey, shoot, I got to add drip strip here. There's no overhang for shingles.
Can miss a lot.
There's a lot, right? I think so. If you give a price range, hey, if you're good with this range.
Yeah, and if they're feeling you, then you go and dial it in.
Then you go, right?
But you know what, though? Like, just take my wife, for instance. My wife has moved into a sales role here. She loves it. In the last, 4 or 5 months. She knew how to do it in the office, but now she's doing it in the field. I don't even care about closing ratio. I don't look at that stat. But to analyze her, because she's doing so well, I looked at her closing ratio. She's closing like 85, 87%. It's stupid. Awesome. And the reason being is because she's very personable and because she gets the face-to-face. So if you look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, then, you know, do it virtual, please, to spare everybody. Nobody wants to see that thing, you know? So, but, I mean, if you dress halfway decent, drag a razor across your face every once in a while, clean up the chin or whatever. Get your ass out there and apply your personality and your charm and your wisdom in the industry, and get the sale, because that is what's going to separate you from just a number you're sending or just a range. And they're only deciding based on that range. I mean,
I know.
Sure, if
I do well with the
hacking a lung
homeowners.
up and they're sick, when I was at a house today for commercial, a big flat roof on a high-end residential home. And I got to the door and the guy had a mask on and he's like, oh, we had a little COVID in the house. You want to put a mask on? I said, give me the damn mask. And I put it on. But short of that type of stuff, get to the house, get the sale, man. I mean, I don't know. That's my. You guys doing? Or you give a range and then feel your way?
No,
in?
I don't do it. I do well with the homeowners, and it goes well. I don't like. I mean, some of these guys are working for roofers. I mean, it's unavoidable sometimes, but I don't really love to do that. I like seeing their needs, and if something goes wrong, obviously you work for some contractors and you do some of that work. It's unavoidable, right? But when I don't have that connection with that homeowner, or when it's not me to them, there's stuff that gets missed all the time, and I can't stand it because I don't price it to go more than once, right? You're pricing it to go and do it, and guess what? They wanted that over here, but why didn't you tell me that? Make your percentage. Like you're adding a couple bucks to it. First of all, you're adding a couple bucks to gutters. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room for you. I mean, let's just face it. You might as well just let me deal with them.
I find remotely that there's just too much room for error because they have preconceived notions of what they're going to get.
Right.
You gave them a number. They think they're getting one thing. You're thinking the other. And then when it's showtime and the guys come out to install, let's face it, the installers may be phenomenal, but they're not trying to talk to the homeowner per se and map things out. They just want to get that job done. They want to get in there. Right. And it's not their job. It's the salesperson's job. So get there, do it right, put the time in. Yeah. I mean, that's my 2 cents.
No, it's true. We've been having some success with the remote so for the lights because obviously it was a short window here.
That
October.
I get.
So we're giving that range, and that seems to be
especially
honestly,
in the beginning. For me, I would be doing if it was my first season. Not that I would not go to the house, but I would try to throw some numbers out there, get my range right, see if they're biting. If they're biting, let's go.
Yeah, it's been working. That's been working for that route.
I'm proud of you with that, man. That's those numbers are phenomenal for first season out. That's fantastic. So obviously you're going to run with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it went from just doing hey, we're going to fill some time. A couple months in with that little bubble, a little end of the year push.
You do anything on the website? You're going to jazz up the site to support it?
So that's okay. You moved to a new place, right? And we were talking about it off the air before. I moved to a new place and trying to find a home here in the new building that I have. And there's a lot. I keep saying I'm going to take care of that in the winter. I'm going to take care of that, February, January. I'm going to take care of some of that stuff. So
it's upon us.
I'm hoping that I have the time to devote to do some of that stuff. But yeah, we gotta reel it in with some of that.
What are you doing for SEO these days?
I pay a local company here. Well, I wouldn't say local. A local rep here. Haibu. I use Haibu. They built the site for me, and then
phone rings. Phone rings.
It rings. So, but I don't really love that. I don't love how it's going. So it's on my sister's to-do list to get that dialed in. We're gonna figure all that out.
Why don't I tell you what? Let's talk when we're together. And I'm not pitching us. I have an option for you.
Yeah.
Why don't let's? I'll introduce you to the guys.
Yeah, because I know that you mentioned that before, but I'm open to definitely different than what I'm doing now.
Yeah, there's a few ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So what's good for the holidays, man? Anything fun on tap?
Coming fast. It's coming fast. I mean, I gotta schedule in a good dinner for the guys. Love that, right? They get their bonuses. We have a nice evening. We do a pretty casual shop party, right? Which, because my dad's got guys that come, we have guys that come, so everybody looks forward to that. That ends up being the Friday always before Christmas. So in this case, it's the 22nd, which is soon. Soon. Yeah. So we host, like you said, we host Christmas Eve, and so
big family affair. That's awesome.
Yeah, big family affair. That's fun. Yeah.
I love it.
How about you?
Cool. Yeah, same thing, similar. This year we're hosting Christmas Eve, like a good Italian. Christmas Eve's, important. We're doing it at a restaurant this year, close to our house, a real nice one, and got a private room, and
Nice.
it's just easy on everybody's, the cleanup and the kids and everything. We'll let the kids go crazy. So we got that cooking for Christmas Eve. I have my father's side of the family, we have a party this Saturday in Westchester that one of my cousins is hosting. And my wife and I, we're talking about even just like an afternoon, like a late lunch for the gang, get everybody together. What I found in all my years, and I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff, go out to steak dinners and everything. A lot of times the guys don't want to. They're like, it feels committal, and they're just like, I'd rather be home with like a 6-pack. Right?
Like, it's not as.
I gotta put my hair tonight. What are you talking about?
It's definitely a different dynamic. Like if you're not, we don't operate that way, right? It's so to try to force that. So it's definitely. I can understand that being casual. Yeah, that's why we like to do that.
Like a no pressure thing. Let's have a little lunch. Everybody have a good time. Maybe a nice pizza place that everybody enjoys. Couple beers.
Our shop. So behind me here, we have in this shop we have, like my office is here, my dad's is here, my sister's in the front. It's more like a showroom. Yeah. Right? We made it all out of I made it all like stuff we do, right? So there's like hammered copper underneath the coffee thing, right? Epoxied, right? So beautiful. I do a lot of that fancy stuff like that.
You get a lot of foot traffic into the showroom?
No, not as much. But when people come in, they're like, no shit. And, so I did like cornice work, right? Made it by hand, rolled it by hand, and we used that as the crown molding. And the sliding doors are like a interlocking panel. Yeah, all different colors.
That must look awesome.
It is. But behind me here, we make homemade supersat, right? So it's like pork butt seasoned. Oh, yeah, we hang it, right? Delicious. So we have a commercial kitchen out front, and they're in there now. Yeah, they're in there now. Wow. And we were here yesterday.
Seasonally, you guys do it.
Seasonally, we do like 4 times a year in the winter, and so there's like a Sunday crew and a Monday crew.
Wow.
The Monday crew's here now, and we were here yesterday doing it. So
wow, that's wild.
It is. It's funny, but there's like it's fun. It's all.
You guys make wine too?
No, we tried our hand in that. We weren't any good at it, so we just it's this. We do like pickled eggplant and cool. We jar some pepper shooters and stuff like that. Peppers. And that's all.
You guys sound like you have a real tight communal, familial bond going, and it's amazing. Yeah. It's so beautiful to see the business like deeply intertwined in all of it too. It's you guys are.
Yeah, it's a lot of family, and like I said, bringing family into it. Like
I have
it's not just
plenty of family that work here with me, and it's special.
It is. It's more to it.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, look, I really appreciate you spending time with us. For this obviously this goes on our YouTube channel, and there'll be a descriptive on you and me and our companies. For the folks at home that are in your local services area, just give them the 30-second elevator speech on who you are, what you do, and how you can help them in their home.
All right, I'm Mario Bevilacqua. We have for 100 years we had a sheet metal company here locally in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We now have a gutter company. We do roof coatings and flat roofing, pressure washing. We have an awning business, and we do holiday lighting. We believe in customer service, quality, installation, and products, and making sure that we come back to you and you're telling friends about us and other homeowners about us, and that's really where we want to get referrals and do the right thing by our customers, and that's what really fuels us. And it's just about end up taking care of the customer, and hopefully they had a good experience with us, and I think that's probably most of what we hope for. So
anybody out in that Northeast Pennsylvania area, you got a really good human being here in Mario. We're recognizing him and his business nationally, on a national scale. He deserves that recognition. He's keeping it real. Give him a shout if you need anything roofer, rain gutter related.